Well, I think we're okay to get started. So, Jess, do you want to kick it off?
I'll kick it off. So I just wanted to start by introducing myself. I'm Jessica with ShortStack, and I am a customer success strategist here. I've been with the company now 8 years, and what I do basically is just help our users be successful using the platform. Adam?
I'm Adam Himmler. I am the sales vice president for ShortStack. I have talked to quite a few of you on here. That's awesome. Hey, Linda, what's going on? And yeah, I'm going in my 10th year. And yeah, I'm excited to talk Instant Win. Instant Win, especially the different variations that we have, is some of my favorite stuff that we provide or offer through the platform. So super excited for today's webinar.
And I just wanted to add one more quick housekeeping item. If you've been on these trainings before, you'll know this, but we actually pre-record a good chunk of the training, and we do that for a couple of reasons. It just makes a cleaner presentation, and it also helps us distribute the content really quickly after the training is over. So we're just going to hit play on a video, and then you'll watch it, and then afterwards, of course, since you're here, we want to answer all of your questions. So if you think of a question while we're watching the video, just type it. There should be a little Q&A, a little Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen. Just click that, type in your question, and then once the video is over, we'll answer all the questions here live within the training.
Awesome. All right, we good to start, Jess?
I think we're good to go.
All right. Enjoy, everybody.
If an instant win giveaway is something that you haven't tried for your business, then you're in for a treat. Hosting an instant win giveaway offers all the benefits of a traditional giveaway with the added excitement of awarding winners randomly and instantly. Just to give you an idea of how an instant win works, I'm going to enter this one. Oh, looks like I'm a winner. As you can see, Instant Win takes the burden of the winner selection process off of your shoulders, but the benefits are far and above that. Due to their instant nature, instant wins are great for increasing engagement. It's just too enticing to not enter a giveaway that lets you know right away whether or not you've won. Not only that, but instant win giveaways pave the way for using complementary features, such as awarding multiple prizes as well as distributing unique codes. In this example, a list of prize codes has been incorporated to the giveaway. So, when someone has been chosen as a winner, they'll also see which of 3 prizes they've won, either a dozen plain glazed donuts, 6 gourmet donuts, or a dozen gourmet donuts. The prizes are distributed from a list that is uploaded to ShortStack. Although winners are selected at random, the prizes are distributed in order of the list from the top to the bottom. So, say for example you wanted to offer a bunch of prizes and also a grand prize. You could do this a few different ways. Let's use a car dealership giveaway as an example. Let's say this dealership was giving away 50 small prizes. These could be like swag, such as a water bottle or maybe a sweatshirt. Then 5 people could win $1,000 towards a down payment on a new car. And then the grand prize could be a new car. So the list would consist of all of the 56 prize codes. And the $1,000 and grand prize would be added to the list wherever the giveaway host would like. For instance, you wouldn't want to award the grand prize as the first prize, as it may take away from the excitement for the rest of the participants. Another way to incorporate a grand prize in with an instant win would be to add all of the winners to an instant win drawing, like we did on our Elf on a Shelf giveaway. Here at ShortStack, we constructed a digital version of Elf on a Shelf, which used multiple features and awarded us a list of benefits. Here's how it worked. We started with our multi-day giveaway template to reveal a new clue every week over the span of 4 weeks. Once the participant read the clue, they had to use it to go on our website and find Jack. Clicking on Jack revealed an entry form which they could then enter to see if they won a prize. Every winner was entered in a grand prize drawing, which we drew after the entire 4-week giveaway had ended. Not only did this giveaway earn us a higher participation rate than we've ever seen, we increased the traffic on our website while educating participants on our product and features. Lastly, another feature you can incorporate into an instant win is a scratch-off component. A scratch-off giveaway is just like an instant win giveaway, but allows participants to scratch off an image to see if they've won. Now that you've seen a few examples and methods of running an instant win, I'm going to turn it over to Adam, who will show you how to set something like this up in ShortStack.
Thanks so much, Jessica. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show off our 2 different template options that we have. We have our instant win template, and then we have our scratch and win template. The biggest difference between the two is the scratch and win provides you the option to include an image that the participant will scratch away to reveal if they are a winner or if they're not, and if they are, what they won. So let's talk about the instant win template first. So the way this works, you'll start with our instant win S2 template, and out the gate you're going to get our header image at the top, the simple text above the form, and then the form itself. Like all of our other templates, you'll change the content that you want to change, but the biggest difference here is you'll need to interact with our instant win settings, and you will also need to configure the content that they're going to see if they're a winner and if they're a loser. Now let's start with configuring the instant win tool first. That is located within the form designer. So we'll click the edit form icon on the form widget, and then up at the top of the form designer, we'll go to instant win. And right away, you'll see that the enable instant win option is set to no. We'll make sure we set that to yes. And then you have a decision here. You can do either a static prize, which means if I'm an instant winner, I win the same thing as the next person, or you can switch this to use code list for prizes, which that means you can upload a list. It has to be a CSV made up of one column so a CSV list of all the prizes that you want to give away. Now this can be a mix. It can be prize codes, it can be prize names, it can be a mix of both. Really, it comes down to whatever is displayed in the file that you're uploading is what we display back to the winners. And we start at the very top of the list as the first prize to give away. And then once that's given away, we mark it as used and we go down to the next prize, and then so on and so forth. Now, once you upload that list, the total prizes to award should be updated to display how many prizes there are. Make sure that that number is accurate. And then you'll tell us what the start date is and the end date. Now, what we're doing here is we're taking the number of prizes that you're giving away and we're going to distribute them over the time frame that you have set. Now, if it's equal numbers, like let's say you have 30 prizes over 10 days, that would mean we would take the first, we would take 3 prizes and distribute them on each day. And then we give each prize a random timestamp. So what will happen is we'll take all the prizes that you have put in there and distribute them over the time frame that you have set. So if it's 10 prizes over 10 days, that's 1 prize a day. And we give each prize a random timestamp so no one knows that if every day at this time I enter, I'll win. It's completely random. Then you'll select a winning entry label. By default, we'll set it to winner, but you can change that to something else. But there always has to be a label so you know who won or who didn't win. All right, so once that is set up, you hit save and exit. And then the next thing that you will set up in your campaign is in the edit widgets panel on the left-hand side, you'll see what we call the winner container and the non-winner container. So the winner container, that's the content that will display if a person is an instant winner. Now, if you go into the winner text widget that we have set up, you want to make sure that you don't remove the form response.prize code text that you see in the rich text widget. That is how we're going to display the message if it's a unique prize that they're going to win. Now, if someone is going to win the same prize as anyone else, meaning you didn't upload a list of unique prizes, then you can remove that portion of the text and then just put in the name of the prize that they're going to win, the name of the static prize. Now, you can add additional content to this, other images, sharing, anything that you want. And then you go down to non-winner container, and this is the content that they'll see if they weren't an instant winner. Now, once you've set that all up, and then you've set up the rest of the content in your campaign, go ahead and publish it, and it is now live. All right, the next template that I want to show you guys is our scratch and win. This is one of my favorite ones because of the fun feature that we've added to this. Now, because I went over the instant win template already, everything else is the same except for this one component in the scratch and win template. and that is the image that a participant will scratch away after they fill out the form. So to set that up, what you would do is first you'll go into edit off mode, and at the very top it says configure template. Click on that button, and we're going to ask you what the cover image is, and we'll give you a minimum of 600 by 600 pixel recommendation. So upload the image and then tell us what the percentage is that needs to be scratched off before the entire image removes. Now you could do 100% if you want, you can do 1%, it's up to you. Then hit save and exit. Everything else about this template is going to remain the same. You're going to have your instant win settings in the form designer. Tell us if it's a static prize or if you want to upload that specific list. So on the left-hand side, you're going to see winner header and winner text. So you'll update that information for the winner view, and then you'll see loser header and loser text. You'll update that information, so then that's what the content will be seen for the losers. Everything else will remain the same, and you'll hit publish campaign up at the top, and then you'll just update whatever else you want. So this is looking exactly how you would like it to.
Thanks for that walkthrough, Adam. The only detail that I have to add about instant wins is the number of prizes that you can award on different plan levels. Awarding a single prize is available on all plans. If you'd like to award multiple prizes, that's available on the agency plan and higher. Also, if you'd like to distribute codes, that's available on the agency plan and higher as well. Now, take note of the links on the screen. This is where you can get in touch with us while you're setting up these features on your own and have questions. But of course, while we have you here, we'd love to answer any questions that you have about instant win giveaways.
All right. Jessica, as always, thank you so much for the great video.
Yeah, you bet.
Let me get my camera back on. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to go over an instant win template live while we're here on the call together. And while I'm doing that, as Jess mentioned in the video, please feel free to ask whatever questions you might have in the Q&A area. Now, if it's a question about instant win, fantastic. If you have a question about something else ShortStack related, it's perfectly fine to ask us that question as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and let's do this. So I'm going to create a new campaign. Now, chances are some of you may be brand new to ShortStack. So what you're seeing here is the dashboard. When you first log into your account, this is where you'll land. To get started with an instant win, I'll come up here and say create campaign. And then it's recommended that you start with S2, which is where all of our new features, templates, capabilities are going to be located. So we'll go view S2 templates. And then as mentioned, there are two different templates. There's the scratch and win. That's my favorite. That's the one where you literally scratch off an image. And if you're on your phone, it's even cooler. On your desktop, it's still pretty awesome. And then the other one is just the instant win without the scratch off. So it's just you fill out the form, you instantly see if you're a winner or not. So I'm going to just go ahead and do the scratch and win. So I'm going to say use this template. Got a couple questions here. For scratch off, can you have multiple scratch areas? For example, let user choose of the 3 spaces to scratch. Not currently, but actually I like that idea. That would certainly take some work on our end to figure out how that could work. If you don't mind, Janelle, send us an email at theteam@shortstacklab.com. I think maybe Jess, she typically posts that in the chat area. And send us just kind of a high-level overview of that approach that you would like to take. And then we'll take a look at it and see what maybe options we have to make that its own template. And for everyone else that's in on the call, if you have any ideas or see something neat on, somewhere else and you are curious if it can be done with ShortStack or want to provide a recommendation to us on a new feature or idea, feel free to share that with us at any time. A lot of what we provide has come from our users, whether it's, they figured out a way to do it by piecing different things together, or just, over time we got a lot of recommendations for it. So please, it helps us tremendously for you to share your feedback and your ideas. I have a question here from Sandra. Do you have a suggestion on how to get the same people from entering more than once with a different email address? So when it comes to different email addresses, and this is actually one of our brand new features, we haven't really promoted it too much yet. We've added a new feature where we're connected to this service that allows us to know immediately about what we call like burner email addresses, meaning it's email services that are provided where it's like a one-time use. So they'll create a quick and dirty email address that they're never going to use, and then they'll come over here and set it up. Now, I'm not talking if it's a Hotmail or Outlook or Gmail or Yahoo. Those are legitimate services, so we can't stop that. But if we see someone use a fake burner email address, we can stop that now. We just added that feature into ShortStack. But if someone is using the same email address, or they're using multiple legitimate email addresses, Adam at Gmail, Adam at Hotmail, Adam at Outlook, we can't really do anything about that. Now, and I don't believe, if we went over in the video, I missed it, but I don't believe this feature was available then. We have made some updates since we made our initial video for this, where you can limit the number of times a person can win. Now, again, that's going to be based on email address. So the idea being people can enter as many times as they want. If they win one time with email address 1, let's say, then if they continue to enter with that same email address, they would not win again. They've already won a one prize, and we won't assign another prize to them. So that is helping. But beyond that, is if it's a legitimate email address, there's not much we can do about it. Let's see. I have another question here. You guys have great questions today. Question from Janelle. Can these be set as invite only, meaning that their email would need to match with a master email list? Yeah, kind of. We do have an invite only template. We haven't really talked about it too much, only because even us, we're kind of wrapping our heads around different use cases for it. But to give you an idea of how it works, participants would register on a form first, a ShortStack form. They fill it out, and then you can send them an autoresponder from ShortStack. And in that autoresponder can be a unique link to that person. So let me give you an example. Adam fills out Janelle's form, and I get an autoresponder with my own link. Now, that link can go back to the same campaign or a different one. It doesn't matter. But if I click on that link, ShortStack is going to look for very specific information in the URL that I clicked on. And if it matches with an entry that I made, then ShortStack will unlock content and allow me to see more stuff than I would before. Now, this isn't foolproof because Adam could share my unique link with Jessica, and Jessica would be able to get in there and also check it out. But it does limit the ability if someone just shares, the plain link on its own. If anyone just goes to that link, they're going to see that form. Or you can show other content like, oh, sorry, you had to have been registered first in order to enter into here. Now, I realize that, we're talking about a lot of things today, and I'm throwing out a lot of new features too that we haven't really discussed a lot about yet. So Janelle, since you are hopefully already going to send us one ticket about your previous idea, in that same email, talk to us about the invite only, and we would be happy to share more information about that and to go in more detail so you have that as a little bit of a write-up.
We actually do plan to do a live training on invite only in the near future. Not this next training, but potentially the training after that.
Perfect. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. But you're more than welcome, and that's for anybody here. You're more than welcome to reach out to us and ask, for more details on that prior to the webinar if you'd like. All right, I have 2 questions here. I'm going to go to they typed it in the chat area. Got a question here. Can we use telephone number instead of email address? You can ask for a telephone number, but we can't limit it to the telephone number specifically. That it's just not something we have in place. I have a question here from Rebecca. Is Reddit in the future? Depends on what you mean specifically. If you could elaborate on that, Rebecca, that'd be fantastic. And then another question here from Linda. What's the best way to prevent bots from entering? Does limiting number of times someone can win help elevate the bot issue? Well, one of the best ways to limit a bot problem is to use Google's Recaptcha that we have built into our forms. We also have it built into our voting. And you can control the sensitivity of when it would actually trigger thinking that someone is a bot. Now, because I'm inside ShortStack at the moment, I'm going to go ahead and show you where this Google Recaptcha ability is located. So I'm going to go into the design form area, and then up here under entry restrictions, we have CAPTCHA. So by default, with all of our templates, we try to, sorry, you guys can't see me. We try to enable the Google Recaptcha by default. Of course, you can always turn that off if you want. And then this is where you decide what that sensitivity looks like. Now, this isn't how Google Recaptcha used to be. We're actually using the new version. So it's not going to just be sitting there. You have to click the box, I'm not a robot, and then something happens. It'll only get triggered if it expects or suspects someone being a bot. They fill out the form, they hit enter, and then it'll pop up and say, click the images with pancakes in them. And then it'll proceed from there. So that bot feature or the Google Recaptcha is the best way to handle bots. And then beyond that, yes, limiting the number of times people can enter overall is also a great way to handle that approach or that issue. You guys have great questions so far. So please feel free to keep that up. And thank you so much for, answering asking all these questions. All right. So since I've gone through all the questions so far, I'm going to jump back into my example here. Now, since I'm already in the form designer, I'm just going to tackle this real quick. For those of you that aren't familiar, the form designer is where you decide what information you want to ask, how you want to ask it, and what type of contest it's going to be. What kind of contest being, it could be a photo upload, video upload, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, instant win, or a variation of it all. It could be, hey, upload a photo and potentially instantly win a prize. It's whatever approaches that you want to take. And that's the beauty behind ShortStack is we allow you, we're a lot like Legos in a way. We allow you to just build on top of whatever you want using whatever pieces fit your, build the best. So over here on the left, these are all the different fields you can add. I mentioned photo, video, you would use our upload field for that. And then you have our custom fields. So text field, text area, checkbox. And you can use as many of these fields as you want. Grab the one that you want to use, drag it where you'd like, and then customize it. What is your favorite color? It could be an open-ended question, or I could do a drop down. No right or wrong answers. It's completely up to you. We have some more questions here. Awesome. From Julie, we have used voting contests before and found cheaters that bot votes on separate websites to boost their placement in a contest. Any advice as to avoid that in the future? We refrain from voting contests for that reason now. Well, our general best practice when it comes to voting is to not allow voting to dictate the overall winner. We generally like it when voting will decide who, the top 20 entries will be. That way you still have control over dictating who could win. You could say, hey, voting will decide the top 20, and then our judging panel will pick their favorite one, or we're going to randomly select from the top 20. That way, if number one has 10,000 votes and then number two has 500, obviously there's something going on with number one. So when you randomly select a winner, maybe you won't end up picking number one because it's random, or however you want to go about it. Now, I understand that there are situations where you want there to be voting dictating the final winner. And in that case, step one, and this actually could fit well within any scenario that you're doing voting, is don't show the vote count. Typically, when you show the vote count, it's just going to bring problems in the sense that you have people that are so competitive or just think people are cheating that they're going to blow you up on social media or send angry emails. If you don't show the vote count, nobody is the wiser. And we actually have found that when people can't see how well they're doing, that encourages them to continue to do even better. Because if you do see that, you have 5 votes and then the top entry has 100, you might get discouraged. You're like, well, I can't catch up. So why am I going to continue to do it? If they don't know any better, then you can keep hitting them and say, hey, keep going, get those votes. Now, when it comes to other websites that are voting for people, there's not really any great way to handle that unless you make voting very hard, which may sound counterintuitive, but we do have different restrictions in place where you can limit how many times people can vote. And you can also limit the type of restriction, meaning we have like an email to vote feature. So they hit the vote button, they have to enter their email, they get a code, they enter that code back in, and then their vote counts. A lot of people who don't even know this person, they're just, saying, yeah, I'll help you vote to win. They see all those steps, they're like, well, I don't even know the person, so I'm just not even going to do it. Why am I going to jump through all these hoops for nothing? Now, you might say, well, that could be applied to anybody. And that's true. It's really dependent on how far you want to take it, how big the value of your prize is, and always understanding that people will try to cheat anytime. Obviously there are people that don't, and, hooray for them, but you're going to get the people that just want to win regardless of how they do it. And when doing a voting type contest, that's just kind of life. But if you do see a lot of success with voting, I would say change it up and say, all right, voting is going to dictate top 20, and then we'll decide who the winner is from the top 20, because then that kind of gives you more freedom of avoiding the potential cheaters.
I just wanted to mention that I just posted a link to a resource regarding cheating in the chat window. So it's just, it has some tips that you just mentioned. So if you wanted that in a text form that you could save for later to look at later, you can click on that link in the chat window.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jessica. Is there a limit to how large dimensions the scratch off area can be? Yes, and I will hit on that in just 1 minute. So we're still in the form designer, and I went over adding a field, entry restrictions. If I come over here to instant win, obviously we want to enable that. And then this is where you have the decision if you want to do static prizes or unique prizes. And so if you are going to do a list of unique prizes, and here we say codes, use code lists for prizes. That terminology doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be codes. Like Jessica was showing in her video, it could be the name of a prize, it could be a code, it could be a mix. It can be, here's code 58325861 that gets you 50% off. And then, here's your new car prize. And then here's this and this. Really, it comes down to whatever you put into that one column in that list you upload, those are the things that we will show to people when they win. Tell us the total number of prizes to award. Tell us the start date and the end date. Best practice is to have the same number of prizes for the same number of days. Now, if it was 20 days and you had 40 prizes, that's fine too, because, that still equals out perfectly to, 2 prizes a day. But if you have 5 prizes for 20 days, the algorithm on distributing the prizes can get a little funky in how it lays those out. So it's just recommended best practice, 1 prize for each day at minimum. And then, so you tell us the start date, the end date, the time zone that adheres to, And then winning entry label. By default, and you can't change this unless, you can't remove it unless you just change it to a different label. We're going to label everyone that is a winner with the name winner. So then that way it's easy for you to search for all the winners. Now, if you run a lot of instant wins, it might be a good idea to say, winner, instant win, August. Something that, you can easily distinguish between all the other entries if you want. But there has to be a label in there. And by default, it will be winner if there's nothing else in there. And then limit repeat at winners. So I say yes, and then just tell us how many prizes per email address a person can win. Let me just check my Q&A area real quick. Nope. Okay, we're good. So that's the form designer. I literally have just scratched the surface. There's so much to this form designer. It's crazy, but I don't want to focus too much on this since we do have some other questions about Instant Win in general. So hit save and exit. And part of the system is we check for different things to make sure that you've set it up correctly. And I've not set up my Instant Win entirely correctly, but I'm just going to turn it off and then I'll hit save and exit now. So Janelle, coming back to your question about the dimensions of the scratch off area, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to configure template. And then right here. So the cover image, we say the image should be square and a minimum of 600 by 600 pixels. So, if you want to go above that, 700 by 700 or 1,000 by 1,000, you certainly can. That's not a problem. But it is recommended that it be square because how we place the content behind that image, at minimum, the way we have it set up, it's going to fit perfectly within that 600 by 600. If you go lower, chances are some things might stick out. If you go larger, square, it's still a good idea. You could certainly play with it. That's the beauty behind the platform. You can upload an image, test it out, see what you think. Oh, no, want to make a change. That's fine. And then percentage of image that must be scratched to reveal if participant is a winner.
Adam, do you know, is there a limit to how large, do you know if do we cap how large the image can be?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
At least we haven't crossed that bridge yet. I haven't seen an image too big yet.
Gotcha.
Doesn't mean it's not possible. You could certainly probably go too big. And when it comes to that image, you want to think about how you believe people are going to be participating. If you think or know that the majority of your entrants are going to be on their phone, don't go crazy big with your image. And then hopefully, because of that fun interaction with the scratch off on your phone, hopefully most people will be on mobile to check that out because it's something you don't normally see and it's very fun to do. So I tend to like to go a little higher on this one. I like to do like 80%. That way, I can scratch off a lot of it and it's still there, but preferences, it's up to you. Hit save and exit. I think I just got a question here. Let's see here. Julie is asking, I've noticed that large high-res images often do not load into the library. Is there a limit of file size? There is, but I cannot remember off the top of my head what that might be.
I think it's 10 megabytes.
I think you might be right. You know what? We will make note of that, Julie. And actually, if you don't mind, Julie, could you send us a support ticket with that question, and then we will get back to you on that? And to reiterate, it's the team at shortstacklab.com. Or if you're in your account, you can click the support button in the top right corner, or if during the day, you can come down to support in the bottom left corner and submit a question that way as well. All right. You guys are killing it with the questions today and sticking around. This is fantastic. Okay, so let's say you want to test this out. Very simple way to do that. Just go to preview and then tell us the time frame that you want to test this out in. And then you can interact with this as if you were a participant. So you can fill out this form, see how it all goes, not a problem. It is recommended if you are testing an instant win that you stay under test entries, because then that way we don't use up your prizes. Now, accidents happen. That's okay. If you do end up using one of your prizes, you can always reset it back in the form designer. Now, asterisk on that. If your contest is already running, don't reset the prizes, because that means all of them will be reset and made available again. And we will remove the winner label on the people who have won. So to reiterate, do not reset your or reset your prizes if your contest is running. Just let it run. And if you have questions or need something, reach out to us first before making any kind of updates to the actual prizes themselves, just to make sure that you know what's going to happen. Now, as we talked about a little bit in that video, this instant win doesn't have to be just that. It doesn't have to be just an instant win. If you want this to be a grand prize and you sprinkle in some instant wins, that's perfectly fine. We find that the more prizes that are available, the more likely people are to participate, because they feel like they have a really good chance at least winning something. So it's encouraging them to interact and play. Now over here on the left-hand side, this is where you can access the Scratch background area. So we have the winner, and I know this because it says winner header and winner text, and then the Scratch background for loser header and loser text. So with the mechanics of like when those show and how those show, you don't have to do anything to that, because we've already set that up with you with this template. What you do want to do is you just want to go in there and make updates to them. So I'm in the winner header area, and it's just text. I'll type in my new text right here. Hey, congrats. You're the lucky winner. Hit save and exit, and then we'll go to winner text, and then you'll say, you've won a $100 gift card or this or that. And you'll be able to customize that and have it fit, whatever, you want to say. This one is in particular set up to be static prize, but with a couple of updates, then you can make it unique prizes as well. Now you might be saying, well, what if I get in there and, I watched the webinar, but I kind of forgot some stuff. Well, one, at any time, you can always reach out to us. We generally have live chat available Monday through Friday, and then we have email support 7 days a week with a typical average response rate of 30 minutes. So we are very quick to respond to your inquiries, your support questions. The other option that you have is you can click template up here in the top right corner, and then that will open up the template instructions. And this typically has a video that Jess has made. And with some of our templates, it'll have additional information down below with tips, tricks, best advice, so on and so forth. So really, you're only just a couple clicks away to either reach out to us or find some of the great resources that we have made to help you use the platform. All right, we got some more questions here. Fantastic. Got another question here from Janelle. Can you talk a little about options for awarding prizes? Is an autoresponder email required? I'm just going to start with that one. No, it is not required at all. We typically like to use the email autoresponders just because it's kind of like a double confirmation. They'll see that they won here, and then the email can be sent, and you can reiterate what they won in that autoresponder. And you could even go as far as providing them more instruction of when they can expect their prize or where to use their prize, maybe if it's a code. The autoresponders are a great way to kind of get the, I don't want to say more boring stuff, but more of the administration stuff out of the way versus cluttering it up in your campaign where it's going to only be specific to those that won. It's a great way to get that in front of them via the autoresponder. Can we note for winners to check their email for their prize code, et cetera, so we can send through our CRM? Yeah, sure. You could certainly do that. Whether it's, within the winner text area, you could say, hey, check your email in the next couple of days for information, or can a voucher code display, and then we can follow up with an email in case they do not use it right away. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you could show the code that they get within the campaign itself. That's not a problem. And then not send an autoresponder from us. And then if you know that they haven't used it, then you can trigger that autoresponder from your CRM later on. Because all of the entries that we collect for you, you can export, as you very well may be aware of, and then you can upload that into your CRM. And in that export, you will also see there will be two columns. There'll be a column for label, and so it'll say, winner, or it'll be blank if they're not a winner. And then there will be another column if you are doing unique prizes, where it'll be the prize name for each person that is a winner. So you'll have all the information available to you to know in your CRM who they are, if they're a winner, and what did they win. So then you can check and see if they actually use that code or whatever it might be. Hopefully that helped answer your question, Janelle. And if you have more questions, please feel free to ask them. Linda, what's the best way to, nope, already got that one. Oh, sorry, the chat is pushing these in different areas. So sorry, give me 1 second. Let me see, make sure I didn't miss anyone else's question. No, okay, no, we're good. Okay. Yeah, Zoom was putting the questions in wrong spots. So I just want to make sure I wasn't missing anything. All right, looks like we're good. Yeah, definitely keep the questions coming. And for those of you that haven't asked any questions yet, looking at you, Carrie or Daniel, if you guys do have questions, feel free to ask them. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to be about Instant Win. If you have a question about anything, like what's the weather right now, where we're at, feel free to ask me. So other ideas for Instant Win, just because I like to share. Been doing this for like I said, almost 10 years. So I've seen a lot of different use cases. Now, obviously, nobody's really going to be doing conferences for a while. But when that time comes up again, which I'm sure it will, I like the idea of an Instant Win being used to give away your kind of like your freebies, your goodies at the conferences. The pens, or this plushie, or this just cool mug, or whatever it might be. You don't want to just give those away with nothing in return. So you could have a couple iPads set up where people fill it out, give you their information, that you can then use to follow up with them after the conference. And then with the Instant Win, they can find out right there on the iPad what free item that they can get. And that gives you the approach of being able to have some better, cooler items that only a few select people win. And then if they're a loser, that loser one can still show what they do win. Maybe it's just a pen. Maybe you have 10,000 pens, and you're like, well, you got the pen. Here you go. But if someone else got it, and be like, oh, congrats, you got all of this. That's a great use case for Instant Win. Because it allows you, like I said, to get great information at that conference or whatever kind of event it might be. Don't let your imagination limit your ability to run these in very different ways, in different events, different approaches. Because it's not, we didn't build the platform to just fit one scenario. We want you to be able to accomplish whatever you'd like, anytime you want, however you want. And if you're ever curious about, hey, how could we have this thing going on, and how could an Instant Win help there? Feel free to reach out to us. Our great support staff of Justin, Jane, and Jessica sounds like the best law firm around. They've seen a lot, they've done a lot. They are more than happy to kind of give you some ideas, and then they're always willing to kind of rope me in too if they want to ask me and pick my brain. So. We just want to make sure you guys have a great time using the platform, and you see your success every time you use it. I've pretty much gone over what I wanted to talk about with the Scratch and Win. Obviously, there's so much more that you can do, especially with Scratch and Win and just the platform in general. But seems like we've been able to answer all the questions. They've kind of quieted it down a little bit. So let's do kind of just like one more call. I'm going to let Jessica mention anything that she'd like to mention before we jump off. But in that meantime, if you guys have any more questions, now's the time to ask.
Well, we're seeing if any more questions roll in. I'll just go ahead and mention our next training, which is February the 18th. And it's going to be really cool. We've been coming up with new features like crazy. We have these bigger ones like Instant Win that we've gone over and we've had trainings on, but we have a ton of like little features that won't really take up a whole live training. So we're going to put all those into our next live training. We're going to be going over things like we have some new form features, like we have some, like Adam already mentioned, the email to vote feature. We also offer a way to redirect people upon form submission. Just little things like this. We're going to go over how to set those up, use cases, etc. So don't miss it.
Awesome. And by the time we do that, there could be some other new features because of your guys' recommendations. So like I said, don't hesitate to tell us, hey, this is a great feature. What do you think about this idea to add to it? Or if you saw something out in the wild and you wanted to share that with us, we try to keep our ear to the ground as much as possible, but obviously you guys are out there running these and needing the new ideas either for your business or your clients. So whatever we can do to help you guys out, don't hesitate to send it to us and ask us questions. All right. Well, Jessica, thank you so much for joining today. Always enjoy our webinars. You're the best partner around.
Ditto.
And, all of you that joined today, thank you so much. I do hope you guys have a fantastic day.
Ooh, it looks like we have another question.
Oh, yeah. I need to know how to use multi-language in a template. Okay. There's a few different approaches to take there. We do have a template that is kind of set up for multi-language already. Let me just show you that real quick. Excuse me. Let's go multi. Actually, let's do, I wonder if we switched it over to S2 yet. Okay, hold on one second. Let's go to S1. So it's under S1 still. Here we go. So multi-language giveaway template. So if I preview this template, the way we kind of set this one up is we had the idea of like, what if it's 3 languages? And it's going to be using a combination of our actions and our containers. Meaning, if I click Espanol here, then the content below changes. Now, this content is not auto-populated in the sense, we're taking care of it for you, we're translating it for you. It's all set up because you put it in there. You have 3 different header images or however many you need, 1 for each language, and then the different content. So it's almost like 3 versions of the same campaign under the same URL. Now, I can tell you that with our S2 templates, we've made updates where Google's translation option, if I had my default language in my browser set to French, then if I go to a campaign built with ShortStack new S2 features, and I go to the live campaign of it, Google Translate will pop up and say, do I want to translate this to French? Now, as you may be well aware, it's only going to translate the live copy, meaning like this copy here on the image, that's built into the image. So it doesn't have any control over that. I can't change it. But the live copy, the copy that you typed in, that will update to the new language using Google Translate. So you can certainly attempt to just build one campaign in one language and then allow Google Translate to take care of the rest. However, if you have a lot of images in there with a lot of text, just know that that won't change with the translation. Now, there's certainly other ways that we can approach this. So I would highly recommend reach out to us on support. Because we can also do a combination of country visibility features that we have. Basically, we take a look at the IP address of the visitor to the campaign, and if they're in Portugal, then we can show and hide content based on that country restriction. So we have a lot of different features that can assist with what you're looking to do. Let us know exactly what you want, and we will point you in the right direction to make that happen. All right. Well, again, thank you so much, everybody. This was a great webinar to start the year off with. We're going to try to do these about once a month. There might be a couple of months in there where we do more than one. And it'll always be me and Jess. We're not going anywhere. So we look forward to talking to you guys again.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.